How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and welcome back to another Tower of Fantasy video. Today is going to be day 60 in the Ultimate Guide series, and we got a lot of interesting things to talk about, including the scaling of power level of characters going into the future, a little bit on Elemental Gear, and a lot of it on weekly resets as we have them fastly approaching. So first, let's go ahead and talk about characters, and what characters have come out in the limited banner so far, and their sort of power scaling that's been happening within the global version of things. We know that global is vastly different from the Chinese version, so there are some main differences when it comes to weapons. The first character to release was Nemesis, and in my opinion, by far, this character has been the most useful to me so far. It adds a good combination of damage and healing, which is something that a lot of compositions do not have, and characters in this game, especially having the two of them mixed together. So for me personally, this has been the most value that I've seen so far. Frigg has been a very powerful ice unit and came out a little bit rocky at the start, but then they mistranslated some things and buffed her power up a little bit. So she ended up being a lot better than she originally released as, so that made her a pull for me, as I did intend to go towards the ice comp. And all of these characters have been pretty tame in my opinion. Nemesis got her damage reduced from her totems, especially at the 3-star when you had that lightning ring coming out. And she also got her power scaling reduced in the raw damage buff that she gave. And then for Frigg, there was also a kind of cut down on her dodge attack, so she couldn't spam as much damage as she normally had been doing before. So all of these had been pretty tame. And then we got to Claudia. Claudia mixed it up a little bit because Claudia came out pretty much in the same state she came out before, although she did come out a little bit better. Some of the abilities, like the actual damage abilities for her on her combos, came out with a tiny bit more damage, which was interesting to see. So it kind of made her a little bit better than her counterpart Tsubasa in terms of buffing things, because she was just a little bit easier to maintain. And then lastly, we had Cobalt B, which just recently came out. They tried to transform this into a shatter character and lowered the damage values a lot, because I guess their thinking was, hey, they can't shatter and do damage at the same time. But for me, this character didn't feel right, you know what I mean? Something was missing. I think at 6 stars it does become pretty powerful, but before that, there's just really not much there in terms of like DPS or damage, so that made it a little bit odd. So what it's looking like so far with the pace of things in global is that we're getting characters that have reduced power compared to everything else. So that makes you wonder how strong the standard characters are actually going to be, which is great news for free-to-play players, because characters like Crow are still outperforming pretty much everything else. Samir as well, and some other units that are very, very strong like Tsubasa. So these characters will likely continue to be strong into the future, unless we see a vast change with the upcoming characters like Lin, Saki, Fuwa, and down the line maybe we'll get like Tian. I don't know, we'll have to see how it goes, but only time can tell. In addition to that, they have been playing around with matrices effects. Nemesis matrices came out nerfed, Frigg's matrices came out and then the Claudia matrices came out double buffed pretty much on the 4-piece, which is very surprising to see. That was actually quite a strong matrices set, and Cobalt's matrices now also buffs on the damage over time amount. So there seem to be like kind of channeling that power into the matrices and taking it a little bit away from the limited banner characters. Let me know your thoughts and your feelings on that. I have a YouTube community post up. If you want to go ahead and check that out on my YouTube, there's a community section, and I put up a poll, so you can go ahead and vote there for your favorite character. What do you think is the most useful character so far? That's what we're taking a poll on, so go ahead and cast your vote over there and let me know your thoughts. Now that we have that covered, let's talk a little bit about Elemental Gear, because I see a lot of people, they're going to get a piece of gear and they're like, oh no, this is a bad piece of gear because it doesn't have the element that I want on it, right? Like, I want to go physical, but this gear has fire, so I think that this is a bad piece of gear. I think that this logic was okay at the start, but now it's starting to get to the point where we're evolving into the endgame. Sequential Phantasm is here. You need multiple elemental sets, in my opinion, and characters to perform well in this. And the content will also change like that. There are bosses that only take certain types of elemental damage, and you're going to need to be prepared for that. So what I've been doing is I've started to collect different types of set. So I've been aiming for like a frost set, a fire set, a physical set. So if you ever find a good piece of gear that has stat lines that you like, even if it's not your element, go ahead and roll on it a little bit. You know, check with 1 star, see if it's good, see if it rolls into that frost attack or that fire attack. Because you never know, you could end up with a really good piece like this. I rolled this belt with 420 attack and 940 flame attack. Do I use flame? Not right now, but this is the best belt I could find. And on top of that, if there's ever a challenge for flame, well, I'm set to go, right? So I just wanted to give a brief heads up on that. Just go ahead and track your gear. Even if it's not your element, it could still be valuable for you in the future in terms of progress, especially with the new content from Vera right around the corner. With all the success that we had with the last secret art contest, I feel that it's only right to start a round 2 of the secret art competition, so we are going to do that. The rules are you're going to join my Discord, the link will be in the description down below and on the screen, and you are going to find the secret art channel. Inside of that channel, you will go ahead and present your Tower of Fantasy related art piece, and guys, don't pull a Bob Ross and spend like 2 months painting something. Like, you know, give me a good doodle, a good art piece. It doesn't have to, you don't have to spend too much time on it. I'm gonna pick 10 winners, right? And you guys are gonna get Tower of Fantasy in-game codes that will give you gold nucleus and SR relic shard boxes. So if you like to draw and you're interested in Tower of Fantasy content, go ahead and hop in the Discord and give it your best shot. And even if you can't draw, there's still going to be a lot of cool art there that you can go and check out. So make sure to be on the lookout for that. We're going to give that competition 2 days in totals. So not next video, but the video after that will be the cutoff date. And then we will go ahead and announce our winners. And we will feature those winners in the following video. Alright, with that covered, I do want to say a small announcement that Vera Orienteering is now in that phase 3 phase, but we have also bought pretty much everything within the shop, but you will have this elemental ore shard daily box coming back. I'm gonna keep buying these because it's not too hard for me to get 3,000 points. It's about 3,000 to buy these each day, and that's just a few Lucia and Sobek kills, and since we do a lot of those on our Twitch stream anyways, we just go ahead and knock that out at the same time. So I'm not sure how useful these elemental ore boxes will be into the future, but if they ever are, well, hey, I got them. So just a little quick heads up if that's something you want to work towards. And then on top of that, we have a bit of information for joint operation. Today is the golden day. That's right, Deep Sea Stronghold is back with 2 very valuable matrices and gloves, as well as the kicker for pants. So make sure to focus your efforts on this one. It is quite nice. You do have another optional, but it's not that good. So I would definitely aim towards this one, and hopefully you get some nice item pieces. With the joint operation talked about, let's go ahead and head over to the challenge mode and talk about Frontier Clash. You will have another attempt today. Good luck. I hope that you get a lot of gold pieces. Let me know what your average is on these. I seem to get 1, maybe sometimes 2 gold pieces per run, whereas before I was getting a lot more. I was getting like 5+ for 5 chests, sometimes 4 in a run. But they definitely seem to have optimized the loot, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem as good as it was before. Let me know if you had the same experience. Following the Frontier Clash, we also have the weekly resets, which are up and coming, so make sure to keep on top of those things like Raid, the Crew, the weekly Battle Pass points. All of those avenues are coming to an end on that Monday, so make sure you get all of those done and have plenty of time. And speaking of that, Bygone Phantasm, I would start using your Mia's Kitchen to see if you get any buffs, so that you can push higher on your levels, but keep in mind you need to do your regular push as well as your sequential push. And we do have some pretty challenging sequential runs this time. There is a lot of different elements, but they're not too bad. I've been managing to get quite a high point count. Hopefully you guys have been able to do the same, but just a friendly reminder to push as high as you can so that you can potentially get the best rewards possible for the week. Remember that you have today and tomorrow, and then we're going to be entering the new cycle. Speaking of cycles, Wormhole is also going to be on a new cycle very soon, and that's going to be in a few hours, actually. So make sure you go ahead and clear your Cetus mode, and then head to Ursa Major and do your Endless mode. You'll be able to clear for additional gold dust, so make sure you don't miss out on that this week. And then following this week, we will have the Cetus Endless mode available, so that's the new one that we'll be clearing for bonus dust every week. So that should be pretty fun and interesting. With the Wormhole covered, I do want to say that you should probably check on your island. Just a friendly reminder, make sure you don't have any boss or enemies or anything that are been staggered on spawns available, and make sure to claim your resources, because you're going to need to start calculating your end of week expenses. So go ahead and do that. Today is Saturday, tomorrow's gonna be Sunday, so that's gonna be the last day to buy it. So make sure you have enough to afford all of your weekly materials, especially the really important ones like the SSR relic shard boxes. So make sure you're calculating for that before you go ahead and upgrade your buildings and realize, oops, I need a little bit more materials on that one. Alright, that's going to be it for this one, everyone. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and we will be producing more content in the future for Tower of Fantasy, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Thanks for your time and watching the video, and we will see you in the next one.